Like to talk to you,
This
Heidi.
international restart, end of 2021, of course, it's really tantamount on borders reopening. It's pretty ambitious. What are the big risks to this roadmap?
Well, it's based on the government plan, which is a four-phase plan to get Australia to start opening up again. And the federal government has said that 70% vaccination rate of the eligible population, then we should have domestic borders opening up, which we think will happen at the start of December. And we've been conservative of saying New South Wales and Victoria should easily get to that target by then. And then international should start opening once we get to 80%, which we also believe will happen by the end of the year. And then it will open up to countries, the government have said, have similar levels of vaccinations. So the UK, the United States, at least the west coast of the United States, Singapore, Japan, Canada. And that's what we're planning, to start the operations from the 17th, 18th of December, those countries that we believe are a possibility. But it is dependent on a decision the government haven't quite made yet, which is what the quarantine requirements will be for vaccinated travellers. And they're doing a few studies at the moment. One of the options is potentially similar to other countries. If you're vaccinated, you come in and only have to have a negative test and self-quarantine at home until that's the case. And if that's the case, we could see robust demand for international starting up around Christmas. And that's what we're assuming. We're keeping the flexibility to move the operation up or down, depending on what those requirements are going to be.
That would make a lot of people happy, Alan, but of course there's lots of uncertainties. There's already criticism that even at 80%, there's people saying that we shouldn't reopen given how high cases are. And if you look around the world, there's a chance that we may never get to 80, 90%, right? Are you kind of thinking about those risks?
So I think Australia's always had a history of having high vaccination levels in other areas. And looking at the research, and we've certainly done a lot of research, I think we're probably similar to Canada than we are to the United States or other countries. And Canada reached those levels, and we think Australia should be able to do the same thing. And what you're seeing happening at the moment in Australia is the biggest uptake of vaccinations, higher than the peaks in the US or in the UK when they were rolling around at the start, and there was overwhelming demand for it. And we see that continuing. So we're comfortable that we should be able to get to those 70, 80% targets. I think what we are seeing is that some people are querying the Doherty report, which this national plan was based on. And they've come out this week to clarify that it doesn't matter where you start with cases, the plan still holds and the opening up is still valid. And we could see, we launched an advertising campaign this week that went viral around the country, very emotional for a lot of people. The Prime Minister tweeted it, and he says, this is the hope people are looking for, that when the borders open up, they can get back visiting family and friends, to have a wedding overseas, to have the holiday overseas. And I think the public sentiment is changing dramatically, and people are saying we need to have a path out of COVID, a path back to our pre-COVID lives. And this national plan, which was agreed by all the premiers and the Prime Minister, is the way of doing that. And people expect them to deliver. And I think there'll be a lot of pressure for them to deliver.
A lot of emotional expat friends over that ad. When it comes to the A380s, how confident are you in terms of the plan to bring them back earlier? Do you think you'll be able to fill that demand?
We are, because the research that we've done in Australia says there's a huge pent-up demand, and 70% of our business internationally was leisure or visiting friends and relatives. And we usually every year would see 20 to 25% of the population saying that they want to make an overseas trip. At the moment, the demand is looking like it could be 2 to 3 times that amount, which is huge pent-up demand in the first year when the borders open up. And the big markets are the US and the UK. And we think the A380 will be the perfect vehicle to meet a lot of that demand. We've written the aircraft down. We're removing 2 aircraft of the 12 fleet. And we think the aircraft economics, the product in the aircraft will be superb. The aircraft economics will generate a significant amount of cash and help us repair our balance sheet over the next few years. And we're very positive that that demand will be there. But we have flexibility. We're taking the first 5 aircraft by the end of 22. The other 5 aircraft could be there by early 24, but we can move those plans around depending on where demand actually settles.
And Alan, of course, you've said that all of Qantas's employees must be vaccinated by a certain date. How's that been received internally? Do you expect that that would lead to some staff attrition?
Very positively. We did a survey of our 22,000 people, 12,000 responded, and actually 94% said they were having the vaccine or thinking about it. 89% they were definitely having it, and only 4% said that they had no plan to take it. And what we asked our employees is what you think our policies should be. And 75% said they believe it should be a requirement for people coming into work to be vaccinated so that we have a safe work environment. And we believe our duty of care to our employees, to our customers, is making sure that our employees do meet that vaccination requirement. We will have exemptions for a small amount of employees that have medical reasons not to be able to get the vaccine, and we'll work through them and have other protections in place for that small amount of employees. For anybody else that doesn't want to get the vaccine, then I think aviation is not the industry for them.